So I think you all know where I am. If I just show you this.
So we're right in front of the White House. You can't see it from where I'm standing, but right there is a tent. I mean, we've all walked by it 1,000 times. It's been there since 1981. And the message is no war, peace. It's a peace vigil.
Just out front of the White House is a blue tent that originally was put there to be an anti-nuclear tent for nuclear arms. It's kind of morphed into more of an anti-American at sometimes, anti-Trump at many times.
Where is this blue tent?
Right in front of the White House on the north lawn on the other side of the Black Gate in Lafayette.
I haven't known this.
All of us in here walk right by it every day. It is an eyesore.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Let me
Take it down. Take it down today, right now. Nobody told me that. So you're saying there's a blue tent?
It's been there for 30 plus years. It was originally a peace tent, but it's kind of morphed into something.
Morphed into radical left. Okay.
Well, but I've heard.
Is it in the Ellipse? Where is it?
No, it's in Lafayette Park. It's actually
Lafayette Park. Take it down.
Okay.
Okay.
What's interesting about it?
The William Thomas Anti-Nuclear Peace Vigil was founded in 1981. It has been here for 44 years. And counting. It is the longest standing protest in the world. And it represents peace. It represents peace. It is profoundly American, just like the First Amendment. The First Amendment is American. And without the First Amendment, this is not America. If you sit idly by while they tear down the longest running protest in the world, you represent the end of America as we know it.
But did you know that right across the street from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, there has been a continuous peaceful protest for more than 4 decades? Right here is said peace vigil. It was set up by a man named William Thomas back in 1981, protesting nuclear armament. Now a group of volunteers man the site around the clock, and they've taken up a number of causes over the years. Think about Occupy DC in the early 2010s. Now there's a lot of Free Palestine signage. The volunteers told me that, save for 2021, when they were locked out of Lafayette Square Park here for a year, they have been here in place in front of the White House for 44 years. On Friday, a reporter asked President Trump about this in the Oval Office. He was referencing how Trump has ordered the clearing of homeless encampments across the district as part of his push to beautify D.C. Trump said he knew nothing about it, even though a reporter told Trump that people are concerned there were guns, drugs, and rats inside of the tent. So right away, Trump said, take it down. Authorities removed the tent because technically it's a shelter, but volunteers tell me it's important they maintain their right to free speech here. Very important note, volunteers say that there have never been guns inside of the tent, but at one point there were rats.
Guys, today we have another topic, and I don't know how serious we're gonna take this topic because it's not that heavy, but it's just one of those light moments where you clearly can see how Donald Trump's ego can overshadow his thinking sometimes. And when he feels like his ego's been stroked a little bit, he just makes, I wouldn't say rational or irrational decisions, but just make hasty decisions. Like the way he clearly ordered the taking down of the peace vigil at White House. The moment he just realized, or the moment he just heard that that peace vigil is at hand, he has been all about taking homeless shelters and things like that in Washington DC. He's even astonished to find out that there's there's a tent in White House, and what has it been doing over there? It reminds me of those reign of kings when kings would just order something like, hey, bring me that kid, or hey, execute that person. Like, it's just straight at it, not even consulting or wanting to know the reason why something exists before even come to what the peace vigil that was at White House meant or how long it has been there. It's just the fact that I don't think this thing would have survived given that Donald Trump has been making renovation of the White House. And now let's talk about the peace vigil. Has been there over 40 years, set up by someone I think called Lafayette or something of the sort 40 years ago. Even though that thing is highly supported by the leftists or progressives, I really do think that something that has been there for 40 years definitely has survived administration of administration, and maybe it has importance in it. Maybe the thing that triggered Donald Trump is the Palestinian flags that were hanged in there. I don't think the issue of mice or someone suspecting that there may be guns in that tent might have been the reason why he ordered the removal of the tent. I just think that maybe the things that were put there was not just subscribing to Donald Trump's ideas or agendas or opinions, and he felt like the need of removing that. It's like taking down a tree that has been there for like over 50 years or 40 years. Like, that is completely wrong. Like, legally it might be right, but morally, like in the eyes of the public, that is not always true. I'm sure even some of the Republican people might feel some type of way about how the peace vigil has been removed in a snap of a finger. The trend is no longer there. But hey, I guess that is one of the mission to restore peace. Hey guys, my name is Danny and I'm gonna be the host for today's show. As you've seen, we're talking about the White House peace vigil that has been removed and how Americans or different Americans reacted to this story. And we're not at the end of it all. Let's continue listening.
And the no war president who ran on I've never started wars has just ordered that this peace vigil be torn down after, I don't know, 30 years.
44 years.
44, thank you. And these pigs right here, so these pigs are keeping us out of the park. It's roped off. This is normally a park you have access to, but in order to protect the tyrant behavior that's happening here, they've roped the park off. So this is Lafayette Park right in front of the White House, 16 and H. They're tearing down a peace vigil that's been here since 1981. Cops won't even let us in the park to film it happening because, you know, if you have cameras, you can expose the ways of a tyrant mad king. So somebody needs to tell the emperor that he's not in fact wearing clothes. Is it normal for the park to be closed right now?
There's an event going on, so yes.
What's going on?
There's an event at the White House, so it's closed off for that.
What's the event?
A congressional picnic.
A congressional picnic.
Ended the longest running U.S. protest for a fucking picnic.
8:30 at night.
Congressional picnic is why the longest running protest in American history has been dismantled.
Is the tent gonna remain there?
Just be honest, when are y'all going to switch to brown shirts? I'm just curious. Like, it might as well happen.
This really says a lot about the type of leader that Donald Trump is. He does not care about peace whatsoever, and he's made that very clear. For those not aware, Donald Trump pledged to remove the makeshift blue tent that has sat directly across from the White House since 1981 and is the nation's longest continuous peace vigil. He said, take it down today, right now. It's worth noting that Donald Trump had no idea this even existed until a reporter named Brian Glenn pointed it out to him. Trump said he was going to remove it after this reporter called it an eyesore and said it had morphed from a pro-peace vigil into an anti-Trump protest. Keep in mind, this is a tent that's draped with anti-war flags and banners, including one that says war is not the answer. It has nothing to do with Trump. The tent is calling for global nuclear disarmament and world peace. Those inside the tent have demonstrated continuously since 1981 with a team of volunteers staffing the tent 24 hours a day. Remember, this is the same guy who promised all of us he would be the president of peace. He stood on the stage and said he was going to end all of the endless wars and bring calm to the world. But now here he is attacking a peaceful protest against war. This vigil has stood as a call for peace longer than he's been in politics. And all it took for him to remove it is a far-right reporter saying that it's an eyesore and anti-Trump. He doesn't care about the meaning behind it, the decades of sacrifice, or the hundreds of hours a week that goes into maintaining it. No, Trump just saw it as a threat to his image because someone else told him to think that way. That's how fragile he is.
We promote peace. No wars.
The vigil was originally started all those decades ago to protest nuclear weapons, but today it looks a little different. Part of it removed by the Trump administration on Sunday. According to the Associated Press, on Friday, the president ordered the vigil's tent-like structure to be removed as a part of the administration's ongoing clearing of homeless encampments across D.C.
He said that he wanted the tent removed, and they came and removed the structure, the PVC piping, the tarps, and those things. But as you see, they did not remove all the signage and things like that. They removed the shelter from the elements and the shelter from the things, but we're still here.
Even though part of the vigil has been taken away, the volunteers here tell News 4 they have no plans of leaving this spot they've occupied for 4 decades. Peace Vigil volunteers will be meeting with the ACLU today to discuss their next. So the President of the United States just tore down the White House Peace Vigil tent, which has been there for 44 years straight. It has been used for peaceful protesters to get out of the elements and to exercise their First Amendment right. And the President of the United States just ordered their security to tear it down and to block the protesters from using that tent. Now, this has never been done in the history of it being up. Just for context, there were United States military veterans that were protesting and using that tent. They were protesting the National Guard occupation in DC. And they've been pretty successful. They've drawn a lot of ICE agents out of Union Station, and they've had veterans on continuous watch of that area of DC. And now the President of the United States is attacking them and attacking their First Amendment right to free speech when he hasn't even served in the military. I think that is disgusting. Also, as a veteran myself, I think it's deplorable. I think that it is just so disrespectful to everything that we as veterans stand for. And I think that you, the American people, should be upset about what's happening in our country. We need to take accountability for what's happening, and we need to call it out. This is ridiculous, bro. We are literally living in some of the darkest times in American history, and you guys need to wake the fuck up.
So before some of you come at me that that establishment was put up by a guy named Lafayette, I'm really sorry, that was not it. Lafayette Park was the name of that area where the tent or the camp was set, but the real person who put there was William Thomas. I also did some research and realized that the one who told Donald Trump about the existence of the tent is a conservative reporter who said that that is an eyesore, and immediately Donald Trump said he put out that tent. It really have ruffled a lot of feathers or outraged some of the people, and we're gonna classify these people into progressives, moderates, and also conservatives. First of all, like I said, this coincides with Trump removal of camps and homeless shelters around Washington DC. It came as a shocker to him that there was a shelter in White House, even though the shelter was not occupied by anyone. It was just symbolic of peace going forwards. Just like the veteran has talked about it, it wasn't housing anyone, it wasn't carrying any sort of danger. So according to liberals, they are really outraged, feeling that Donald Trump has been blind. Even though he's been advocating for peace, he's been blind with the fact that some symbols actually encourage peace, just like the peace vigil that was taken down. Also, others says that he's targeting the vulnerable. By that, obviously, I've mentioned the issue of taking down homeless shelters, and it might even reflect in taking down the shelter that wasn't even housing anyone, but just because it was a shelter or a camp that acted like a nuisance, he felt it was the need to just get it off. For moderates, they had different opinions, just saying that this has been for the longest years and years representing peace in the White House, and even the fact that Donald Trump ended his 4 years in White House without taking down the peace vigil in his first term, it's hypocritical to take it right now just because he had that it was set up by, maybe say it was set up and supported by liberals, and also the protest that is going on right now in DC. It doesn't support the fact that it said take it down. He just heard that it is supported by liberals and he felt like, nah, it is not the right cause, just remove it. For conservatives, also them had mixed reaction. Some of them support the fact that peace vigil has been long overdue and has been disrupting the optics of the White House, acting like a nuisance actually, according to them, and it was the right time, or it was high time for them to remove that. Others feel like there was no need for doing that. This thing has been in existence for years. It was just a symbolic instrument. Maybe if there were symbols that were not subscribed to Donald Trump's ideology, maybe they could have removed some of them and just left it to remain there like a symbol of freedom of expression, symbol of peace, an expression of the First Amendment, just like other people say. It is not just about the peace vigil in White House. It's actually how our leaders see some of the symbols that we have, some of the national symbols, some of the symbols that bring Americans together. The peace vigil is actually one of them that showed the moral compass of the United States of America. It quietly points a better version of America. Its removal may be light politically, but it is heavy symbolically. Some liberals feel that this is some sort of heavy resistance and something that is uncalled for. It must be defended and not just remembered. The moment he say take it down, I don't think it's gonna be set up, not unless the next president comes from the progressive side and restores that peace vigil. But as for now, 3 years to come, I think it's game over for that. I mean, it's just a symbol. No one is in there. Just let Americans have it. It's been there for years. Or remove it now. But hey, you might have a different opinion than me and you might feel that urge to oppose it. Please feel free to drop your comment. Don't be shy. Also, do so respectfully. I encourage you to do so because your opinions and thoughts would be really helpful to bring a different perspective of this topic. Also, let me know what would you think about this topic. Should it be a topic that should be talked about nationally? Should it raise a lot of eyebrows, or is it just one of those by the ways? Don't forget to go and check the creators featured in this channel. All the usernames have been embedded in the Stitch videos. As always, go to the TikToks, follow, like. For this channel, make sure you smash a huge thumbs up button, consider subscribing, turn on post notifications so that you may not miss my next upload. Danny over here, signing out. Peace.